Good morning, students. Today we are going to read another very important topic in the subject of mathematics O levels. And the subject and the topic is graphs of the quadratic equations. The points and concepts to remember and understand in this topic are: number one, quadratic graphs are graphs whose equations are of the form y is equal to ax square plus bx plus c. Quadratic stands for 2. So maximum power in the equation will be 2. Where a, b, c are real numbers but a cannot be 0. So a cannot be 0 and a, b, c are real numbers. For example, y is equal to 3x square, y is equal to x square plus 2x minus 3, and y is equal to 5 minus 1 by 2 x square are quadratic graphs. So you can see the condition is a cannot be 0. So x square should be there, because if x square are there, that will be called quadratic graphs. The second point to remember is the graph of the quadratic equation is a smooth U-shaped or the reverse of the U-shaped curve called a parabola. So these are the two forms of the shapes of the graphs of the quadratic equations. Next point is the example below shows some quadratic graphs. So this is one example, this is second, this is the third. So these are the forms of the graphs of the quadratic equation. These shapes are called parabolas. Next point is the curve of a quadratic graph is symmetrical. The curve of the quadratic graph is symmetrical about the line of the symmetry. So look now, if we draw the line of the symmetry here, the graph of the curve is symmetrical. So this is the line of the symmetry. The graph will be symmetrical about the line of the symmetry. This is the line of the symmetry and this is the line of the symmetry. So this is another point to remember for you people in this topic. The next point to remember is the curve of a quadratic graph has either a maximum or minimum point depending on the value of a, that is the coefficient of a square. So if the graph is of the form like this, the maximum point, the topmost point will be called the maximum point. And if the graph is of the form like this, the minimum point will be called, the least point will be called the minimum point. So this is the point. The line of the symmetry is a vertical line that passes through the maximum or the minimum point of the curve. Very important point. The properties of the quadratic graphs are given below. So these are the properties of the quadratic graphs. The first property is if a is positive, the graph has a minimum point. The graph opens upwards, that is U-shaped. The vertical line through the minimum point is the line of the symmetry. So this is the line of the symmetry. This is the minimum point. The smaller the numerical value of the a, the wider the graph opens. So very important. The smaller the value of the numerical value of the a, the wider the graph will open, like this. The graph may cut the x-axis at 0, 1 or 2 points. So this is the condition. This is the condition depending on the equation of the curve. The graph may cut the x-axis at no point, at 1 point, and at 2 points, and the y-axis at only 1 point. So y-axis will be cut at only 1 point. So look now, y-axis is cut only at 1 point, but x-axis is cut at 2 points. In this, x-axis is cut at 2 points, but y-axis is cut at only 1 point. So The points where the curve cuts the x-axis is called x-intercept, and the point at y-axis is called y-intercept. And this is the minimum point through which the line of the symmetry pass. The next property of this kind of the graphs is, if A is negative, the graph has maximum point. The graph opens upward, that will be the shape. The vertical line through the maximum point is called the line of the symmetry. The smaller the numerical value of the A, the wider the graph opens. The graph may cut the x-axis at no point, 1 point, or 2 points, and the x-axis and the y-axis at only 1 point. So these are the examples. Graph is of this form when A is negative. This is the maximum point through which the line of the symmetry will pass. The graph cuts the x-axis at the points will be called x-intercept, and where the graph cuts the y-axis is called y-intercept. In this case, this is the line of the symmetry which is passing through the maximum point. The maximum point is this one. So these are the properties. The next important point to remember is the graph of the quadratic equation passes through the origin. The line of the symmetry is y-axis. So the A's value may be a positive one or a negative one. So if a positive one value is there, as in this case, so graph will be like this, that is passing through the origin. So if the graph passes through the origin, the line of the symmetry is y-axis. In this case, A is negative, but the graph is passing through the origin, so the line of the symmetry is y-axis. So these are some examples. Then comes the next point to remember is, the smaller the value, numerical value of A, the wider the graph opens. So look now, in the bottom, we are having a graph whose equation is 1 by 2x, that is very wider. But if we make the value of A 1, that is more than this, the graph will be less wider, and we are further increasing the value of the A from 1 to 2, the graph will be even less wider. Like the same case is here. Next, we are going to read the steps to draw the graph of a quadratic equation. The first step is construct a table of the values of x and y for the quadratic equation. Second step will be choose a suitable scale. The scale should be on the x-axis, does not have to be same as the y-axis. The scale chosen should allow for the largest possible graph to be drawn. The bigger the graph, the more accurate will be the results obtained from it. Next point will be plot the points on the graph paper and join them to form a smooth curve. We have to join the points with a freehand curve, not with the scale. And the last point will be label your graph with the equation of the curve. So these are the 4 steps. First, make the values, then choose a suitable scale, then plot the points with the help of the freehand curve, and finally label your graph with the equation of the curve. Very important point for you people is, when trying quadratic graphs, it is important that you join the points up with a smooth curve instead of the series of the straight lines. So here is an example that will make our concepts more clear. Draw the graph of y is equal to x square plus 2 for x is greater than or equal to minus 3 and lesser than or equal to 3. So this is the range given. So the first step to make the graph of this equation is, we will make the table of the values of x and y. So look here, from minus 3 to plus 3. These are the values of x, minus 3, minus 2, minus 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, because this is the condition which we have to follow. We will put these values one by one into this equation to get the value of y. So the first step is done. substitute the value of the x into the equation to find the values of y. For example, x is equal to -3, make the y 11. Second step will be choose a suitable scale. So look here, we have chosen a scale that is x-axis is equal to 2 centimeter to 1 unit and y-axis 1 centimeter to 1 unit. So this is the second step, according to which you can see these are actually the scale points. So 2 unit for one value and 1 unit for one value of the y. So look now, these are the unit. Okay, now we will plot these values on the sheet of the graph paper. So these are the points now which are plotted on the graph paper. So these are the points which have plotted on the graph paper. This is the third step. First step was make the table of the values. Second step important was choose a suitable scale. Third step is plot the values on the graph paper. And third important step is the last one. Join the points with the help of the freehand. Do not join the points with the help of the scale. Do not join the points with the help of the scale. Join the points with the help of the freehand curve. So this is the graph done now. The next step is, now we are required to find the value of the y when x is 1.7, the coordinates of the maximum and minimum points, and the equation of the line of the symmetry. Okay. So look now. First step, first requirement was the value of y when x 1.7. So we will locate the point where x is 1.7. From there, we will touch our graph with the help of scale. And from there, we will find the value of y. So this is first part done. Second point was find the maximum or the minimum value. So look now, this is of this shape graph. So this will be the minimum point. So this point is minimum, which is actually 0, 2. So this is the second part done. And the last part was find the line of the symmetry. So if you can see, this is the line which is actually cutting the graph into two equal halves. So this is the line of the symmetry. And this is actually y-axis, and y-axis equation is x is equal to 0. So x is equal to 0 is actually the line of the symmetry. So look now. This is the first part's answer. This is the second part's answer. And the equation of the line of the symmetry is x is equal to 0. The y-axis is the line of the symmetry. And other important question is here. Draw the graph of y is equal to x square plus x minus 2 for x is greater than or equal to -4, lesser than or equal to 3. So this is the condition which we have to follow. So first step will be draw the graph, and all other things will be find it out later. So the first step will be make a table of the values following the condition. That will be the first step. Second step will be choose a suitable scale. Then next step will be plot the values on the graph paper. Next step will be join the points with the help of the freehand curve. Next step will be label the graph. Label is this one, y is equal to x square plus x minus 2. So that will be written on the curve. And all other things will be find it out then. So look now, this is the range. So -4, -3, -2, -1, 0, 1, 2, 3. So this is the range. So putting these values one by one into the equation, we will find the value of the y. Next step will be choose a suitable scale. So here is the suitable scale that we have chosen, that is x-axis is equal to 2 centimeter to 1 unit, y-axis is 1 centimeter to 1 unit. Next step is we are going to plot these values which we have made in the table on the graph paper. So these are the dots which are representing the values. Next step will be join the points with the help of the freehand curve. And the final step for drawing the graph is label the graph. So look here, we have written the equation on the curve. So this is the label. Remember the label your graph. Okay, so this is the graph done. So now we can find the other requirements. The other requirement is the value of y when x 1.6. So when x is 1.6, so first we will locate the point where x is 1.6. From there we will draw a dotted line with the help of the scale, and from there to the y-axis. So this is the answer of this part. In next part, the values of the x when y is equal to 5. So look now, this is y is equal to 5. So we will put a scale like this and draw a line through the point where y is equal to 5. So the line will cut here and here. So we will find the values of from here and from here. So these are the answers, minus 3.2 and 2.2. These are the answers of x when y is equal to 5. The next requirement is the smallest value of the y. So the smallest value of the y will be on the minimum point of the curve. So this is the minimum point of the curve at which y is minus 2.3. And the last step is the equation of the line of the symmetry of this line. So look now, this is the point, minimum point. We will draw a line through the minimum point. That will be the line of the symmetry, and that is actually, this is the point. So this is the point. So equation will be x is equal to minus 0.5. So this is the line of the symmetry. So this question is done. Here is another very important type of this topic. So question is copy and complete the table which gives the values of y is equal to 1 plus 2x minus x square for x is greater than or equal to minus 3 and less than or equal to minus 5. But the difference in this question you can see is table is already given, some values are given and some are missing. So we will complete the table first. So we will put minus 2 in place of x in the equation to get the value of y. So first the table will be completed. Then another difference you can see, the scale is already given. So you have not to choose the scale is given, you have to follow it. So using a scale of 2 centimeter to represent 1 unit on the x-axis and 1 centimeter to represent 1 unit on the y-axis, draw the graph of. So the scale is already given and incomplete table is given. And the steps will be same. First we will complete the table. Scale is already given. So we will draw x-axis and y-axis, and the scale will be plotted on the x-axis and y-axis. Next step will be we will plot these values from the table on the graph paper. Next step will be join the points with the freehand curve. Next step will be label the curve, and then all other requirements will be solved. So look now, we will complete the table first. So this is a completed table now. Okay, next step is scale is already given. So we will draw the scale. We will plot the scale on the x-axis and y-axis. 2 centimeter to represent 1 unit. So 2 boxes will be represented represented with 1 unit, and 1 centimeter to 1 unit, and one box will be represented on the y-axis with 1 unit. So this is the second thing which we have to follow. Next step will be now plot these points on the graph paper. So -3, -14. So look now, this is -3 and this is -14. So -3, -14 is first point. Then -2, -7. Here is -2. Here is -7 and up to so on. So points will be plotted. Next step will be join the points with the help of the freehand curve. Next step will be label the curve. So this is the label, that was the original equation. And finally, we will solve the other requirements now. So the requirement is the values of y when x is -1.6 and 3.2. So we will locate the values -1.6 and 3.2. So here is the point -1.6. With the help of scale, we will go to the curve with the dotted line. From there, the value of y will be solved. And here x is 3.2. With the help of scale, we will go to the curve with the dotted line, and from there y will be solved. Next requirement is the values of the x when y is equal to -9. So look now, this is the y -9. We will put the scale here. We'll draw the line that will intersect the curves. So these are the actually values of x at which y is -9. So these are the intersecting point. From there we will go to the x-axis to check the value of x, and from there as well. So these are the values of the x. The third point is the greatest value of the y and the corresponding value of the x. So that is actually the maximum point. So this is the point which is maximum. At this you can see this is actually x is equal to 1 and y is equal to 2. So y's value is 2 and x value is 1. So third part done. And the final requirement is the equation of the line of the symmetry. So you can see this is the maximum point. We will draw a line with the help of the scale through the maximum point, and this is the line which is parallel to y-axis, and its equation will be x is equal to 1. So this is the line of the symmetry of the curve. Here is another type of the quadratic graphs. The statement is the diagram shows the graph of y is equal to x square minus 2x minus 8. The graph cuts the x-axis at the points A and B, you can see, and y-axis at the point C. Write down the coordinates of A, B and C. So A and B are on the x-axis. So we know at the x-axis y is equal to 0. So we will put 0 in place of y. So look here now. Y is equal to x square minus 2x minus 8. First we will factorize this equation. So this will be the answer. Now we will put y is equal to 0 to get the values of A and B. So look here now, y is equal to 0. X plus 2 into x minus 4 will remain as it is. We will take the two brackets equal to 0. So x plus 2 is equal to 0 and x minus 4 equal to 0. From here x is equal to minus 2, and from here x is equal to 4. So because the points A and B are on the x-axis, so y coordinate will be 0. So A is, because A is in the negative portion, look now, A is on the negative x-axis and B is on the positive, negative x-axis, and this is on the positive side of the x-axis. So A is minus 2 0 and B will be 4 0. Okay. Look now, C point is on the y-axis, and at the y-axis x coordinate will be 0. So look now, this is again very easy. This is the equation. We will put 0 in place of x. So these two factors will be 0 and y will be equal to minus 8. So y is equal to minus 8. And this is on the y-axis, so x coordinate will be 0. So 0 minus 8 will be the coordinates of the C. Okay. Next part is D is the minimum point of the graph. So look now, this is the minimum point of the graph. Write down the coordinates of D. So because this is the minimum point, so this is actually the midpoint of these 2 points. So we have the points A and B now. So we will find the midpoint of A and B. X coordinates are given. X coordinates we have solved. So look now. X coordinate was -2 and 4. So we will find the midpoint of -2 and 4. So -2 plus 4 divided by 2. Answer will be 1. So this is 1. X coordinate, substituting 1 into the equation, and the equation was this one. We will put 1 over here, that will be 1 plus 2, 3, and 1 over here, 1 minus 4 will be -3. So y will be -9. So look, y will be -9. So the coordinates of the D will be 1 and -9. And the next requirement is write down the equation of the line of the symmetry of the curve. So line of the symmetry is the line that will pass through the minimum point whose coordinates we have find. So that will be the line that will be parallel to y-axis. So these points are 1 and -9. So the equation will be x is equal to 1. So this will be the line of the symmetry. So this question is done.